Yoshi?
I'm
welcome,
good. How
welcome
are you,
to Singapore. Very good, thank you. Welcome to Singapore. Welcome to Singapore. And you live in Singapore, right, Yady? All right. So we've heard a lot the last couple of days, haven't we?
Yes.
About how OTAs are being disrupted, and and how this is the moment of reckoning for intermediaries. But let's start the scene first. We get to know you a little bit, right? So Nadia, you are the newest kid on the block. You're barely 2 years old into the OTA world, right? And you came from the FCMG world. So what has been the biggest change you think you've brought to the AirAsia Move world?
Thank you, Siew. I think the thing that I've been working on has been really the fundamentals. There's really no fancy thing that I can claim. And I think there's a great appreciation, at least in my view, of the complex value chain that we operate. So just one click of a booking and how many information and material flows it triggers to the partner hotels, to the partner airlines, So we underestimate the complexity of it and how symbiotically this entire ecosystem comes together.
Absolutely. And, in the last panel, I think we had Ethan from TikTok. That generation is they are so, how do you say, so impatient, and they just want everything one click away. And then now you have to make the click to social, right? So much complexity that you have to simplify. So Yady, you're the money person?
I am.
So you joined Traveloka 11 years ago, about 2 years after its founding, right? So people who live in Southeast Asia knows Traveloka, but tell us something about Traveloka that maybe people might not know.
Okay, certainly. Happy 20th anniversary, by the way. It was a great event yesterday.
Thank you.
Okay, so you might have heard this before, Hoon, so bear with me. So in Traveloka early years, and this was around 2013 when we just switched from meta search to OTA. At that time, the digital commerce infrastructure in Indonesia was not well developed yet. And one of the challenges is actually payment, right? Back then, like the card penetration in Indonesia was very low, still very low today. And there are not many, there's no API, bank connections, there's no payment companies. So what a lot of the online sellers did was first you get the order online, and then you will log in to your bank account using one of the small bank tokens. Then you click on your transaction details and try to find the actual payment to make sure that you actually have received them. And then you confirm and process the transactions. So this worked more or less okay for most of the online sales, but for travel, it's actually very challenging. For example, for airline ticketing, where the seats, the pricing might have changed anytime, right? You might receive the payment, and then, actually pricing have changed already. So, and plus, what if you actually receive tens, hundreds of orders every minute or every second, right? So we needed to come up with something that is automated and scalable. So the team actually tried a lot of different things, including trying to actually crack the algorithm behind those bank tokens. We didn't succeed, by the way. But we ended up coming up with a solutions with using a Raspberry Pi setup to automate the reading of the tokens, the logging into the bank accounts, reading of the transactions, and the confirmation of the transactions, right? So in the process of solving travel pain points, we actually also ended up solving a few other pain points, including payment, right? And well, I guess when I joined, what's impressive to me was the mindset was how could we overcome the challenge in front of us?
Right, and how to do it in a really scrappy way, and just keep hacking away at the pain points. Okay.
Yeah, because the team didn't say, hey, maybe it was too early, let's come back 2 years later.
Yeah.
Or we didn't hire an army of people just trying to do the validation.
Right.
But just sit down and try to figure it out.
Okay, so we're going to talk about whether that spirit has changed now that you've raised, after you've raised so much money, right? I have to come back to the subject of money, right, Yady? Okay. All right, Yoshi, you've been with Rakuten more than 20 years, so as old as I am. So everyone knows Rakuten as the e-commerce giant of Japan, right? You know, the Amazon of Japan. So give us a couple of interesting numbers that might surprise people about Rakuten.
Okay, so we Rakuten provide more than 70 services all over the world.
70.
70. And so such as e-commerce, banking, credit card, mobile network operator service, and so on. And our yearly transaction value was 44 trillion Japanese yen, which is approximately 300 billion USD last year. And when you look at the each individual services in Rakuten Group, so we have many services that are leading in the industry, like e-commerce service, Rakuten Ichiba, so like Amazon, so which is the biggest e-commerce platform in Japan, and we have a Rakuten card, which is a credit card service, which is the largest credit card service company. So in terms of shopping transaction, Rakuten Bank has the largest online banking account in Japan, and Rakuten Golf is the top player in the golf reservation service. So with those leading services, we have been creating Rakuten ecosystem.
Wow, so 300 billion, that's the number I just landed on. So 300 billion.
USD.
Of that, how much is travel?
We don't disclose the number. So, but the transaction volume in Rakuten Travel exceeded 1 trillion Japanese yen in 2023.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for disclosing.
And as for the room nights, so the last year the number of room nights was over 100 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously, I mean, inbound has been really good. So I guess your business has been really flourishing. All right. So each of you represents a very different OTA story, and that's the beauty of Asia, right? I mean, like we're a very fragmented region. Everything has an interesting story. So AirAsia Move, you've got an airline DNA, right? And Traveloka, born from Indonesia's ecosystem, and Rakuten Travel, you heard, right? Comes from a $300 billion conglomerate. So Nadia, having an airline as a parent, is that an advantage or a disadvantage? Because even as you try and brand independently now as Move, you'll always be known as the AirAsia baby, right?
Yeah, it sounds almost like a Nepo baby. But yeah, I think it is part of our DNA. We definitely have the core AirAsia values. I'll first come to the cons. The biggest challenge we have is actually not at the customer friend, it's at the partner friend. I think in the region, as the airline groups and companies have made a big difference to travel, but there's this intense sense of competition over there. And sometimes that has lasted for so long that even now that we go as a partner, it takes a bit of time to understand that we are not AirAsia. We are now an OTA over there to help them book and fill up their seats. So that's the biggest challenge. The opportunity is huge. So the opportunity is that we have inherited, or that's the gift that we have gotten, is this huge, amazing customer base. And that's our North Star. So our goal is to make sure that we stay relevant to these customers, 30 million movers that we have today. And our goal is to stay relevant to them and all the services and things that they're interested in, and find more people like them as we expand.
Right. So 2 years on, what percentage of your airline content is AirAsia?
So look, today, even still, I think 75% of our transaction is still AirAsia, but the other chunk is growing. So the good thing is that overall travel is growing, AirAsia is growing, and the mix of non-AirAsia is also growing.
All right. So Yady, having Indonesia as a home market, right, is that an advantage or a disadvantage? Because I know you've expanded to 8 markets, but people still see you as an Indonesian OTA, right? Is that an advantage or disadvantage?
Well, it certainly helps. Indonesia, it has the world's fourth largest population, the biggest economy in Southeast Asia. So having a strong foothold in Indonesia certainly helps. I discussed earlier about the payment complexities. Indonesia itself is quite highly fragmented from the travel perspective. We have 17,000 islands, hundreds of airports, tens of thousands of accommodation providers, mostly are independent. So in the process of building and growing in Indonesia, we actually had to overcome a lot of complexities and challenges. And in the process, I think those experiences certainly help us as we scale across the markets in Southeast Asia and also beyond.
So you get really good training in Indonesia, and that kind of prepares you for every market, and every market is easier after Indonesia.
Well, every market has its own challenges, but I guess we kind of like get trained to all the challenges and complexities as we grow.
Okay. Yeah. And Yoshi, I mean, having a giant like Rakuten, is that an advantage or disadvantage? Because, you know, you'll always be a Rakuten division. So is it an advantage or disadvantage?
So I think, you know, being part of Rakuten Group, so gives us a distinct advantage. So mainly there are three benefits for us. So the firstly, so of course, so we can leverage our ecosystem. So by sharing, you know, loyalty program, sharing, you know, user base, you know, purchase history, and so on. Then, so we can effectively acquire user and retain user. Okay. So in our service. And secondly, so we possess the ability to respond flexibly to the changes in the business environment. For example, so during the pandemic, so we Rakuten Travel, you know, faced, you know, extreme, you know, challenging situation. So, but looking at the other services, e-commerce or, you know, fintech, you know, they performed very, very well. Right. So therefore, so there is no need for us to, you know, undergo, you know, organizational restructuring and so on. Then we have achieved a V-shaped, you know, recovery. And last thing is, you know, we can leverage the brand recognition. So like, you know, in US, so unfortunately, Rakuten Travel is not well known. But, you know, since we ran the Rakuten Rewards, which is one of the largest, you know, online reward program, so the people in US generally understand the name Rakuten. Right,
so they understand the name.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So, but one of the key things about this moment of disruption is you really got to be really agile, right? We heard all the speakers say, this is the time when you have to make safe decisions with limited resources. You got to be investing in disrupting yourselves. You know, so you got to be really agile and nimble, right? And so, have you kept your agility? I mean, you know, now that Traveloka is in 8 markets, you're still kind of smaller, right? So you have been able to be more nimble, I would think. And Rakuten, I mean, how can you be nimble in a huge conglomerate like Rakuten?
What do you mean?
Agile, you know, nimble, fast. Yeah. It's a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a challenge, but, you know, so there's both, you know, so both in two sides, the benefit and, you know, advantage, disadvantage. So of course, so we are not, you know, a travel individual service, so we need to support Rakuten ecosystem, but we can enjoy Rakuten ecosystem. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Any comments on agility? Have you lost any of that?
Well, not really. I think we always see ourselves still as a startup, right? And well, of course, as we actually have matured, there are a lot more things that need to be considered, such as control, risk management. But essentially, I think that the team still continue to move very fast. We continuously restructure quite frequently, just to make sure that we keep.
You certainly have been making a lot of moves recently.
Yes. We can talk in greater details on that. But certainly, because we want to move fast, we still see ourselves as like a high growth company, and to be able to do that, just being agile, being able to move fast is very important for us.
All right, so let's go to an audience poll, and I'm going to ask the audience who they think will be your biggest competitors in the next 20, right? Is it the global giant OTAs? Is it, you know, the super apps, the outsiders? Is it the AI-powered disruptors? Is it something new we can't imagine yet? So while we wait for the answers from the audience, who do you think will be your biggest competitor in the next 20, Nadia?
I think it's social commerce, C2C.
Social commerce, okay. Yady?
Well, I kind of give a quick answer. I think it's all of them actually, because all of them, but with a caveat. Because in travel, we actually compete, but also work together with all the different players, right? Be it an OTA, an offline travel agent, meta search, an affiliate partner, marketing partner. Kind of like we exchange content, we work together with the goal of like just being able to give the best content, the best pricing, the best customer service to our customers. Yeah.
All of them. What do you think?
Yeah, AI giants, AI agent. AI giants will change in the travels industry in the near future.
Okay, AI agent. Okay, so but at its heart though, let's go to the audience answer, and it's AI-powered disruptors. That's what they believe. So that's their call. Okay, but at its heart, I mean, OTAs are about scaled marketplaces, right? Matching supply with demand, and the bigger you are on both sides, the more power you have, right? So who do each of you see as your fiercest competitor in that scaled marketplace? Is it?
I think for us at Move, we can be our own worst enemy. I don't think we are, there's any other person outside who can do it. And the reason for that is that, you know, like there's enough room for a unique positioning, and we have to stay true to it. Sometimes you see somebody big and you think, oh, wow, I wish I could do that, and I beat them. No, even as humans, we know that we need to stay true to ourselves, and that's our superpower. So I think that's my biggest struggle, to make sure that me and the team stay true to our DNA of these are the movers, we need to serve their needs, and we need to find more people like them versus get those glittery-eyed with all these other shining things.
Right, right. And so your North Star, I mean, your positioning Move is the OTA for the budget traveler in ASEAN.
It's the social travel platform.
The social travel platform.
Yeah, so increasingly now we have figured out people are coming to us even without spending money on Google and the likes. And we are seeing that they have started building communities. We have 1 million people on communities right now. So we are going to pivot more towards social, and social into a transaction type of a format.
Right, so really referring to the panel earlier, where it's that one click away using influencers.
UGC, which is our movers, which are our customers. So they go out, they do things, like if I want to get a truly authentic Bangkokian or maybe Isan experience, I'd rather go to a peer-to-peer platform where real people in Isan are telling me what to do versus an influencer, a marketing person, or some paid content coming in.
Okay. Oh, so Yady, I mean, I know it's like we shouldn't be talking about COVID, it's past, right? But I think it's an important moment for us to recognize, because it was so difficult for everyone. So what is it like being the CFO of Traveloka pre-pandemic and then post-pandemic? Was it more fun in the early days when you were, you could chase growth, you didn't have to think about how much you spend, but now you have to be, smarter about what you spend. How has your role changed?
Yeah, I'll say each stage of growth has its own challenges. Right? Pre-pandemic, I would say growth was probably the biggest focus for us. So essentially, the kind of the moat was like, oh, how fast can we actually increase the top line? How much money do we need to get there? And then we kind of like went through the fundraising process. And the process is actually will repeat, right? Where like not long after we closed a fundraising round, we started thinking about the next round already. Fast forward to today, I would say financial discipline as well as predictability become a lot more important for us, where we constantly seek to be able to plan and forecast much better, much accurately. And we still want to grow our top line fast today, but at the same time, we also continuously look at how we can continuously improve the bottom line as well. So a lot of more discipline and control.
But you talked about predictability, but we live in such unpredictable times. I mean, things are changing. Like even tomorrow is changed, right? And I think even Siew this morning, he talked about Trip, right? I mean, you never think of Trip as a company with limited resources, right? But he said now they have to make safe decisions with limited resources. So CFOs, you're wired to think in terms of numbers and margins, right? So if you didn't have to think about the spreadsheet, so even if the spreadsheet screams no, what's the boldest bet you'd be willing to make in the next 5 years?
I'll say continuous investment in product, technology, and people, even when the returns might not be immediately obvious or certain. Because in the long run, I'll say more likely than not, right, those investments will lead to better products, better services, and essentially better ways to serve our customers.
Right, but those are the same three things that you've been investing on in the last 10, right? It's technology, product, people.
Yeah.
Right? Is there something that's going to take more priority in the next 5 years?
I'll say, well, it's really like, I mean, if I have to pick one, right, it's like, I'll probably say people, right? Because essentially, we are like a tech platform, asset light, and it's a lot of what we build is really depend on people to build them. A lot of depend on people to come up with the process to run the business. So I would say out of those three, I'll probably pick people as the most important aspect.
Yeah. Actually, it's interesting you say that because you're probably the first one, you know, in the last few days to say that people is the one that is most important. Because when you talk to companies, I mean, I think it was Gareth Williams, the co-founder of Skyscanner, who said on Monday that hiring people should be the last solution right now, because if you can automate, you should automate, and hiring people adds complexity.
Yeah, I would say that, well, because even we talked a lot about AI over the past like 2 days or so, right? But you also need people to be able to implement the best AI solutions for the company, right? So I'll say that even with a lot of automation, a lot of AI, having the right people to actually run and manage it is still very, very important.
Yeah, I mean, I support that perspective because especially in Asia, where we have growing economies, you know, and places like Indonesia or India, I mean, there are lots of people who still need jobs, right? You know, so I think this is fantastic if the industry is going that way. So Yoshi, I'm going to come to you now, and your domestic industry is strong, your inbound is booming, but outbound remains sluggish, right? So anyway, you're having a very good year, right?
Right, very
You're having a good year, and that's why you're here.
Yeah.
That's great. We want better years.
Yeah.
So what are the trends in Japan travel that excite you? You know, we heard from Yamakita-san this morning that there are some really interesting opportunities in Japan. How do you see it?
Yeah, so this year, so one of the big trends in Japan is the Osaka Kansai Expo. So which is exciting for us. So because we became the official sponsor for Osaka Expo, and as an official sponsor, so we've been able to leverage the presence of Osaka Expo in a promotion, in a campaign, and as a result, so the booking transaction to Osaka on Rakuten Travel performed very, very well.
Did you see the slide that Yamakita-san shared with us that only 4% of Japanese have passports? Did that number surprise you?
Yeah, that's the very, very so the problem in Japan.
Right.
So for outbound business. So, but I believe so in the future, so the situation will be changed. So because if you talk with Japanese, a lot of Japanese want to go abroad. So, but this is not in good timing for Japanese because of the weekend or exchange rate and so on. So the exchange rate is changing day by day.
So would you consider I think this morning we discussed the idea that the Japanese OTAs should get together and then offer people a free trip to get a free passport. I mean, to get a passport, to incentivize them. Would you consider collaborating with
That's one of the ideas.
Okay, all right. You hold that idea in your head, okay?
So
hold that idea in your head.
I will give you the passport to you.
Okay, all right. So I mean, but the power of Rakuten is its loyalty, right? I mean, you're a loyalty powerhouse across e-commerce, fintech, and now travel, and it's what OTAs are trying to build, right? So, do you feel that this model? I mean, are you looking at expanding beyond Japan, and can this model, this flywheel of loyalty, be replicated elsewhere?
Yeah. That is a very good question. So as you know, our ecosystem model in Japan is exceptionally strong. So we've been, doing a business very well in Japan. So, but while we aim to, globalize the business, so the very, important factor is to build a good, business in each industry. So if the service is not good, so the service cannot enjoy the ecosystem, even with this robust ecosystem. This is the first step.
Okay. All right, so we have to wrap up with rapid fire, okay? And so pick one that you are watching the most. Booking, Expedia, or Trip, or none of them?
None of them. Social.
Social. So if social, what would you watch?
I would watch Insta. I would watch some of the upcoming tier 2, tier 3 city TikTok content is super interesting.
I'll look at all of them. Like,
All of them,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So AI agent.
AI
platform,
agent,
AI
okay.
giants like, OpenAI.
Okay, so I don't know if you did some research on each other's model here, I mean, for this panel. If you could steal one superpower from another OTA on this panel, what would you steal? Yady, what would you steal?
I'll say, well, if I can do one for each, Rakuten, like the loyalty, the massive ecosystem, I think it's really, really impressive, and the global presence. AirAsia, like the brand recognition everyone know about AirAsia. I think that's probably one of the superpower I would like to get from each of you.
Nadia?
For me, Yady, I would like to get that playbook for Indonesia. It's a very, very tough market, and you guys have really done an amazing job there. So that's one superpower I'd like to get. And from Yoki, I think I'd like to understand how they've cracked loyalty. I understand the ecosystem plays. Many people have the customer base, but they are not able to build such a loyalty rewards programs. I'd like to know more about that part. and get
Everybody
that.
wants your loyalty secrets, Yoshi.
Yeah,
Okay,
Rakuten.
what would you like to steal from them?
So good, strong inventory, but strong supply in each region.
Strong supply from each region. So he wants your supply. So just do a partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Thank you, Siew.
I have a good idea. All right. So which traveler segment will define your growth in the next 5 years?
Movers, our current segment addressing their needs because there are many unmet needs.
Budget
And
traveler, right?
the current travelers, which
Okay.
are basic. Yes, you are right. You're right.
the
These are the budget travelers, but moving them from just the functional need of travel to actually building a move brand with them. Because today, if you look at most of the OTA brands, everything is, what comes to mind is hotels, price, flights, but there is no emotional association with any of the brands. And I think that's an opportunity I would want to pick up together with my team.
Okay.
Oh, so the digital native, millennials, Gen Z, people who are very, very comfortable doing everything online.
Okay.
So Asian international traveler, especially traveler who like Japan.
Okay. So Asian travelers to Japan. All right. Please join me in thanking my panelists, Yady,
Thank you.
Nadia,
Thank you.
and Yoshi. Thank you so much. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. It's good to see you.
Oh, the next 2 hours, what's waiting there? Vast horizon.